Hello beautiful people. In today's video I'm going to be talking to you about how my makeup and skincare has changed as I've gotten older. I don't know if any of you else experience this, but have you ever noticed that maybe your makeup techniques and the skincare you're using has changed over the past even 5 years? Because I sure have. So I saw this video done by, I can't remember who it was. If I remember it, I will link it below. But I tried to remember as I was sitting here getting ready to film this video, but I cannot remember. Anyways, if I remember who this video inspired me, I will link it below. Otherwise, I'm really sorry, but I forgot because this video idea was something that's been on my list for a couple months now. Anyways, so I'll start with the face and then I'll move towards what I'm changing with my eyes and just stuff in general. So the first thing I'm noticing is my skin is getting more dry as I'm getting older. I used to be able to use like clay masks to help absorb oils. If you see me look down, I have notes here written down just to keep me, well, try to keep me on track. I'm probably going to go off on a couple tangents here. But I used to use a lot of clay masks to try and not compensate, but I used to use a lot of clay masks to absorb the oil because my skin was just so oily. I felt like I couldn't combat it. In hindsight, I was probably screaming for more moisture, but I didn't know. I was young and I didn't really know. Nowadays, if I even think about using a clay mask on my skin, I just feel my body tingling because it just, I can't stand that feeling of like dry skin. I need to have moisture. So these days I'm leaning towards I'm going for all moisturizing masks or pore refining, like things to help like, you know, control pores and lines and just stuff for like that, not necessarily oil absorbing like clay masks and stuff like that. My skin type is oily and dehydrated these days. What I mean by that is it's not dry as you can see, like dry flakes, but it needs like a lot of moisture. I am oily in my T-zone, on my nose, and my chin. Whereas before I was oily pretty much everywhere. Even more so on my face, my T-zone. But now it's just like more like normal oily. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Anyways, back to my notes. For facial cleanser, I was using like foaming cleansers before. Now I'm using pretty much all cream cleansers and cleansers that aren't like clear, like they have like I'm using one from the drugstore, Aveeno. Doesn't have a clear gel. It has like a pearlized, so it means that there's like more moisture in it. So I've heard. And then for my evening cleanser, it's a cream, not what am I trying to say? Not a foaming or a drying cleanser. I'm using more cream products now on my face when it comes to makeup, like whereas before they would just slide right off my face. These days I'm using like cream blushes and I'm into like cream highlighters. I wouldn't really go as far as using a depending on the foundation. Like I use liquid foundations now. I remember when I was a teenager, the MAC compact, do I have one with me? Do I have an old one with me? Probably not. But you know those, oh, here I have one from, nope, I don't have it. There was one from Laura Mercier and there was one from MAC that I used to use. It was a powder foundation. I used to use that when I was like 16, you know, early 20s, and it would be so quick to just do my foundation and I would be good to go and out the door. These days, like the last time I tried to use it was probably, I don't know, maybe like 7 to 10 years ago. And I just found I just looked so like wrinkly and pruny and gross, and I couldn't figure out what it was. So anyways, that's when I switched to liquid foundation. That's what I'm using now. But for some reason, I guess maybe it depends on the formula, but I don't use like compact cream foundations. If I'm describing that right, I use just liquid. But when it comes to like cream blushes and cream highlights, I do notice if I'm doing my makeup and I put a powder blush on, I can just feel my skin getting dry before my makeup's even complete and I have to spray my face with Fix Plus. Otherwise it just gets, and I can even like see my face getting like lines and like wrinkles like right here, and I don't like the feeling of that at all. So I use less powder now, obviously too, not obviously, but I use less powder now. Whereas before I used to set my entire face with powder. Now I just powder in certain areas like my forehead, my nose, and my chin. And for this area here, it does get oily, but I also have pores, so I set it with, what setting powder do I use? I'm using this Stellar one right now. It's Haze, that one here by Stellar Beauty. I also have one by Bare Minerals. You okay there, bud? He's breathing heavy. I use the Bare Minerals one, the Mineral Veil. Both of those I really like to use. I don't find them too drying, and they're also pore minimizing. So I take my little sponge here and I just put it on the area that I need it. I don't set my entire face, or else it's just like dry cake central and I have to like douse my face in Fix Plus. So more cream products now versus more powder products when I was younger. I noticed about 5 years ago when I would try even put a cream product on, it would just like slap off my face, and I couldn't understand how these people could wear cream products and like their face would look so pretty. I also found when I wear cream products now, it just looks more natural and dewy, and I mean that's the look that I'm going for, so I guess it works for me. That is one plus about me, about my skin and stuff getting older. I'm able to do things now that I wanted to do in the past, but I can do now and it looks good. So I guess if you're looking on the bright side of it, that's that. Where am I? More cream products, blah, 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 blah. Less powder, specific areas. I'm also able to wear more dewy foundations now, whereas before I would just be looking for like an all matte, because I was trying to mattify my skin and make it less oily. The first time I remember, where was I? Was I 3 years ago? 4 years ago? I was with my mom in Walmart, and I was looking in the foundation section, and I remembered I had looked at my face in the mirror because I think that was like the first time I had worn, it was the L'Oreal True Match Luminous foundation, and I had it because I really wanted to wear it. I would actually mix it in with my matte foundations because I wanted a bit of a dewy look, but I didn't want, I wanted like the in between dewy and matte. And I think that was the first time I ever tried to use just the luminous foundation. And this was after I had waited a couple of years where it didn't really work for me. And I was in Walmart and I asked my mom, I looked at my mom and I was like, Mom, like, do I look oily? And I looked in one of those like compacts that are just on the shelves, and I didn't. And I had put that foundation on in the morning, and that was like the first day I realized that I could actually finally wear like a pure, like luminous dewy foundation and have it not be an oil stick on me. I was so happy because I've wanted that for so long. I just like the look. I mean, when I was like 16, I preferred like the all matte look, but I am a far cry from preferring an all matte look these days. But back to my point, nowadays I use more of a dewy, natural satin finish foundation versus matte. If I do use matte, I have to like mix in like an oil or strobe cream, or I really have to prep my, excuse me, I just need a drink of coffee. If I'm going in with matte, I really need to focus on skincare and prep, because if I use a matte foundation, I can't use any powder, and I have to be careful of what I'm priming my face with. So just little things that, yeah, I have to tweak as you know, get older, which is fine, I guess. I'm also preferring, when I was younger, I preferred more of a heavy, full coverage foundation. These days I find if I put too much on, it really emphasizes like fine lines and texture. So these days I'm going for more of a lighter weight sheer foundation, which when I started preferring that, like I love the Dior Backstage foundation. It's like, that was the first foundation I started using that I was like, hey, like I really like the effect that a sheer lightweight foundation gives. I find too my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk foundation too is pretty lightweight and pretty sheer, so when I wear that, like, it really feels and looks nice. I find with older skin that's getting, you know, to show a little more texture, less is more. What's next? Heavy foundations look so heavy, masculine, get less is more, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes so I can get back on track. I was trying to prevent this from happening, but I get so, my brain is just all over the place that it's hard for me to, I need like a, I don't know what I need. Need to carry on is what I need to do. Okay, my pores are, oh, that's the other thing too. I'm focusing more on skincare now versus when I was younger. I didn't really care about skincare. I mean, it was important, but give me 1 second. I just have to blow my nose. All right, where was I? skincare. I'm focusing more on skincare now than I was, say, like even 5 years ago. I would prefer to spend my money on makeup and like stuff that you could see versus skincare that, you know, you put on, you can't really see and you have to wait to see the benefits. Versus now, like the VIB sale, not VIB sale, but the Sephora sale is coming up, and I pretty much have, do I have any makeup on there at all? I think I have one lipstick from Natasha Denona that I want, but the rest is like skincare. Like I'm looking for an oil for the fall or the winter. Before my purchases on Sephora, like they wouldn't be fun if there was like skincare, and I hated buying skincare. Now I love it because as I'm getting older, I'm noticing the benefits of good skincare and how your makeup sits on it. So I'm really putting more of a focus and a priority that as I get older. You know, if you made a drinking game out of this video, you could take a shot every time I said getting older. But anyways. Okay, skincare, pores are getting bigger, yep, said that. Also for the face, for highlight, I used to prefer like a beaming, couldn't get it bright enough highlight. I was always a little frustrated though when, like, I would always try and find like the perfect way to like get a beaming highlight without showing a lot of texture. I don't know if, like, you know, all over social media that was a thing back in the, not back in the day, but like fairly recently, like last year, it was all about like the metallic beaming highlighters, see me from space. I was on that train, I was on that boat, and I have a lot of highlighters in here that do that. do. So immature. But these days I do find that I'm looking for more of a soft lip from within. Like I still want it to be seen. Like if you look on my highlight today, like it's still pretty bright, but I mean, it's not like beaming like it was before. Like if I'm putting highlighter on, I want you to see it. But I'm also really enjoying how a softer highlight, how it emphasizes less texture, just makes you look more like naturally glowy. If I'm even conveying my point across properly, which I feel like sometimes I'm not. On to the next page. I think that's it for face. I don't think there's anything else that I've been doing or that I've had to tweak that I want to talk to you about. If I do, maybe I'll incorporate it in a follow-up video when I'm doing my makeup and telling you the tips. But anyways, moving on to eyes, which is the last, one of the last categories here. So I'll start with brows. I don't know if any of you have experienced brow hair loss as you're getting older, but I sure have. I'm losing mostly on this side, but I'm losing in the middle here, and then like in like the actual brow itself, like it's getting like little sparse areas. This one's worse than this one. So I prefer like more of a natural, soft, fluffy, not too fluffy, but like I don't want it like Instagram last year brows where it's like a freaking triangle or rectangle on your face. I like it soft and fluffy. So for me, because I'm missing the brow hairs in the key places and I want to look more natural, my brow routine has been a little more challenging and time consuming. Trying to find the right shade and formula is key. These days I'm using, I want to try the Urban Decay brow blade, I think, or I don't remember what it is. Hi, yes. But I want to get the one that you can just like flick up and it makes like little natural hairs. Right now I'm using a combination of, and this is okay, like I honestly, like, brows are like the one thing in my makeup routine that I hate doing. That and mascara, even though I love the look of it. They're key things, but I don't like doing them. I'm using the Essence Make Me Brows, so I put that on first, make them fluffy, I let them set for a little bit, and then I go in with this Ka-Brow Benefit and a tiny little brush that's in the bathroom to get washed tonight, but then I take it and I have to, like, you know, warm it up with the palm of my hand, I have to dip it in, I have to like do small little hand flicks so it looks like brow hairs, and then I gotta, you know, fill in just the areas that are bald from like when I brush them out. I just fill in the areas that are sparse. I don't go over the entire brow because I don't want a heavy brow. I don't feel like that looks flattering on me. Whereas when I was younger, I would literally take a brow product and just go over my brow with a fluffy brush and an eyeshadow and I'd be good to go. Nope, not the case anymore. I've actually considered getting the microblading done for my eyebrows, but I'm so terrified. Like, what happens if they like do the wrong shape? You're stuck with that. Like, those are eyebrows. My coworker got it done and hers look amazing. But I'm not ready to spend the money on that yet. Like, I'm not there yet. But maybe one day. Now on to eyes. So I've always had fairly hooded eyes growing up throughout my whole entire life. But I found over the past 5 years that my hooded eyes have become more hooded, and trying to do a wing is just, no. Like, I look on Instagram now and I see these beautiful eye shapes with this nice wing with this beautiful flick and point, and I try and do that on myself, and it's just, you're distracting me. I was in the middle of a thought and you distracted me. When I do it, like when I used to do it, I used to just take the, like I even used to, I remember working at, I used to work at Best Buy, and I remember my friend complimented me on my flick, and all I did was I just took a little eyebrow pencil, went up like this, and then just, you know, drew my line across. Every day I did that, and it was just perfect. Like, I could look normally and you'd still see my wing. These days, if I did that, I would look like, do you even know how to do like eyeliner? Like, what's happening there? Like, it looks like a mess. A squiggly mess is what it looks like. Now I have to be so precise as to where I put it. The placement has to be key. I have to look straight ahead, and I have to be so focused. Yes. And even then, like when I like take a step back and I look normal, like I'm not like lifting my eyebrows, it just doesn't look great. Which really sucks, because I used to love, like, I was a wing fanatic. I would do every wing every single day. And now when I do my makeup and I can't do a wing, I'm like, I feel like something's missing. But it has to be super fine, moist. I know some people hate the word moist, but it has to be like, it can't be dry, or else it's not going to glide over the skin nicely. Like, the better it glides over the skin, the better I can like go over like the saggy like folds on the outer corner. I know that sounds gross, but it's true. So I really had to be really precise, and my wing game has changed. Like, every single year it just gets more and more harder to do a beautiful nice wing, to the point where like I don't really try anymore. If I'm running late or I have to whip my makeup on quickly, I settle for just a eyeliner, and I use eyeliner pencil with a really tiny brush, and I have to like work it, and it depends on what eyeshadow I use. It's just like half the time I hate this. That's the only thing I hate about getting older and aging, is certain things that, I have nothing in my mouth. I'm talking. I have nothing in my mouth. Certain things that you want to still do, you can't do anymore. You just have to embrace it and just get over it. It's basically what I've had to do with my wing game. Like, it's just, it is what it is. Blending, I found I have to be more precise and take more time with my blending now, whereas before, I mean, even then, like, I look back at my older videos and older pictures, I'm like, girl, like, you need to blend more, like, bring it up higher. So, I mean, I don't think the blending had too much to do with the placement, but what I did notice recently, and by recently I mean, I don't know, maybe the last 6 months, is when I'm taking eyeshadow, the higher I keep it up here, when I look or like scowl or just have like, you know, a normal face, the higher I bring it up there, the less it like droops over the edge of my eye and looks like I have like a lifted eye. Like, I have to be very specific on the placement now. Like, bringing it in more and up gives you like a lifted look. So I've had to focus more on that. What else? Blending, placement of the shadow, lifted look, spending more time blending. I also have to bring my eyeshadow up a little more, and I like to bring it in depending on what I'm wearing. Sometimes I'll like take a picture, or I'll watch myself back in a video on something, and I'll be like, I should have just brought it in just a little bit more. So things like that I feel like really make a difference when your eyelids are getting older and starting to droop a little more. Again, it sucks, but it is what it is. And the last thing here is, this is one of the biggest changes for me as my makeup tastes have changed over the years, is I used to hate mattes. Like, I didn't have hardly any mattes. I used to use shimmer everywhere. Shimmer in the lid, shimmer under the lash line, shimmer in the inner corner, shimmer on the brow bone. Like, my entire eye look was shimmer. I mean, I didn't think it looked bad. These days, if I did that now, I don't think it looks good. I've switched from putting shimmer on my brow bone to a matte, and now I'm kind of using like more of like a matte satin. It's not really shimmer. It's just funny, the things that you once thought looked attractive on yourself, as you get older, no longer you feel that way. I also don't really like super bright, like a bright white on my eyelid. I feel like more softer looks better. So again, the biggest change that I've experienced is I've incorporated more mattes into my makeup routine. I like mattes more. I do love shimmer, and I never really do. I'm still not eating anything. and I still don't want to do an all matte look. I do love to add some texture and some glitter or some shimmer into my lids somewhere because that's just my makeup preferences. But I have taken more of a liking to using more mattes just to create dimension and just, you know, to help with the overall look of it. So I feel like that is one of the biggest things that my personal makeup preference has changed over the years, is using more mattes and less shimmers. I used to, like I said, I used to hate mattes. I still love shimmer. I will always love shimmer. But even on like my no makeup days, I prefer to put a satin over my eyelid, not a straight up matte, because I find some mattes exaggerate the lines. Even though people say it looks smoothing, for me a satin looks smoothing on me. And depending on the shimmer, like some metallics I can't wear anymore, versus when I was younger I could wear metallics. These days I have to be very careful of how I wear metallics, and also the layering of eyeshadows when I'm wearing them. Like if you watch my makeup tutorials, I always use a glitter glue underneath of all my shimmers and metallics, because if I wet a brush, the way the shadow goes on and lays on top of my skin, it can really show crepey eyelids and bring out that texture, the unwanted texture that you don't want. I'm envious now of, you know, these 16 and early 20-year-olds that put on like a shimmery eyeshadow and it looks so bright and beaming off them. I put that same thing on and the shine is just dulled down by like the crepiness. It just takes away from like the light reflecting off it. It sucks, and I find that using a cream on the eyelid is more of the way to go as I get older. But I mean, I feel like it's all about adapting and changing and finding different techniques and different ways and different formulas. Now, formulas is also key in the products that you're using as you're getting older. Products that you couldn't use before, you can maybe use now, and vice versa. But for me, that's what I found has changed the most about my makeup routine and makeup preferences. Now, for final thoughts, I just wrote these on my phone because I didn't want to write them out by hand. When I was younger, I used to be a tanning fanatic. Like when I was 16, I would go for tans so many times a week. I know that's so bad for you, and I don't do that now. That is the last thing I do now. I remember, was it 3 years ago? 4 years ago? I don't remember exactly. But it was a summer where I was laying outside getting a tan because I liked the tan look. And over the summer, over the course of the couple months that it was summer, I noticed a line on my forehead that wasn't there before. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, oh my gosh, the sun is doing damage to my skin. Like, I've heard of it, but I didn't actually see it. So it's not that I didn't believe it, but I was like, oh, that won't happen to me. Yep, it happened to me. And I regret that to this day, because even now, like, I'm trying to do, you know, take care of my skin and like reverse the signs of aging and get rid of the fine lines and wrinkles. But other than like getting like Botox or like expensive like stuff to help correct wrinkles, there's like not much you can do. I mean, you can take good care of your skin now, but I mean, the damage has always been done, and there's only so much I can do. So I'm all about sunscreen now, and I just wish that my younger self had have been more careful and not to bake out in the sun and create that line on my forehead. Like, I'm pretty sure that too the sun had like something to do with, like, you know, my drooping eyelids, like the more hoodedness of my eyes now. I see that now, and it's too bad that I can't go back and erase it, but it is what it is. I can only, you know, improve moving forward. But anyways, that was my rant about tanning, and then I moved to self-tanner because I didn't like my natural skin tone. I don't know why. So I find as I'm getting older these days, I care less about, you know, having to have that perfect tan. I mean, I embrace it in the summertime, it looks beautiful, but I'm embracing more of my pale skin tone now, and not always needing to self-tan and get darker. Like, I have to self-tan my neck because for some reason my neck is quite a bit lighter than my face. So I'll do that just to match it up, but embracing natural skin tone is something that I've grown into as I've gotten older. And yeah, that is it. Those are all of the thoughts I have on the things I'm doing, the things I've changed, my preferences that have changed over the years due to getting older and my skin maturing. I mean, I'm still young. Let's not, you know, go overboard here. But I'm sure that as the years go by, even more down the road, like, I'll notice more things that I will have to change. But it's all good. I'm trying my hardest to embrace it. There's more important things to life than, you know, makeup. But anyways, I thank you so much for watching this video, and Sorry, he just pooped. Alright guys, again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope maybe you learned something or taken something away from it. Other than that, you guys will see me in my next video. Bye!